let's look at the numbers for these two fighters, and you'll see that the dimensions of these men are very, very similar. But the number not on here, as Maul referenced, is the one-year layoff for the 32-year-old Roman. Now, that is the longest layoff of his career. We're going to see how that factors in. He dismisses it, but we'll see if it's a factor.
All right, from this sold-out crowd here at the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota, we are set for the main event introductions. We are set for the maestro on the microphone, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the Armory here in Minneapolis, Minnesota, Premier Boxing Champions presents the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Warriors Boxing, TGB Promotions, Thompson Boxing Promotions, and Showtime. Sponsored by DraftKings Sportsbook and Geico, this unified title bout is presented in association and sanctioned by the WBC, the President Mauricio Suleiman, Supervisor Nancy Rodriguez, the WBO President Francisco Valcarcel, Supervisor Michael Pernick, along with the Minnesota Office of Combative Sports. Program Director is Matt Showalter. Our judges scoring this bout from ringside: from Wisconsin, Mike Fitzgerald; from Illinois, Patrick Morley; and from Indiana, Nathan Palmer. Introducing our third man to the ring, he'll be giving instructions after the introductions. Our referee is Mark Nelson. All right, fans, here we go with the main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing scheduled for the unified WBC and WBO 122-pound championship of the world. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Minneapolis, Minnesota, it's Showtime! Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the red corner. Entering the ring wearing camouflage trunks, fighting out of and representing his home of Los Angeles, California. He weighed in at 121 1/2 pounds. With a record of 29 wins, 3 losses, and 1 draw, he has 10 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight in his 7th world title appearance, and ranked the #2 WBC contender, #1 in the world by the WBO. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting the challenger and the former WBA and IBF 122-pound champion of the world, introducing the baby-faced assassin, Danny Roman. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing tan trunks with blue and orange trim, fighting out of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 121 1/2 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign to the ring with a record of 20 wins, no losses, 8 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight in his 3rd world title appearance, ladies and gentlemen, here is the undefeated and defending unified WBC and WBO 122-pound champion of the world, introducing Cool Boy Stephen Fulton Jr. Once again, in charge now to give instructions, Mark Nelson.
All right, Stephen and Daniel, you had your instructions in the dressing room. You both know exactly what I expect. A good, clean championship fight. Obey my commands and protect yourself at all times. Good luck.
Minnesota referee Mark Nelson in charge of this 122-pound unified title fight. 30 years of pro experience, his 843rd pro bout. Stephen Fulton Jr. absorbed 248 body shots in his last 2 fights, but he did not show any signs of wilting. In fact, it seemed to make him fight harder. You know that Danny Roman is going to look to attack the body. They say in life that only death and taxes are guaranteed. Two high-quality operators at 122 pounds, guaranteed to entertain. The bell and round one.
And I'm going to say for the record, I've looked forward to this fight as much as any fight I've done in 3 or 4 years.
And like I say, you've been ringside for some of the most scintillating scraps in 122-pound history. So that means something coming from you, my man.
It's going to be a good match. They both land about 40% of their power punches, which is everything other than the jab. That's an excellent stat for both men.
And there's a lightning quick jab already on display for Fulton. Abner, you and I, when we were watching tape, you told me it's imperative that Roman start faster than we have seen in recent fights. How can he do that against Fulton?
Oh, just as he's doing right now, jabbing faster, becoming an aggressive fighter, but a smart one. I mean, like I said in the beginning, this could either be a chess match or an all war, but, you know, coming from both fighters, they're really technical. I like the jab that Roman is using.
And Fulton utilizing his boxing here in round one, utilizing the jab from long range, diversifying his attack. Early attack to the body by Fulton with the jab.
Fulton does have a 2.5-inch reach advantage, which he hopes will aid him if they're on the outside.
Try to get sneaky with that overhand lead right hand by Fulton. There's a nice jab to the body by Roman, and again, he'll have to go through a little bit of hell to get close to the range that he really wants to fight a guy like Fulton. But Fulton's speed and combinations on display already.
For both men, really, when Fulton throws a 1-2 or a jab, Roman either comes back with that same combination or something different, but really, they're really evenly matched right now.
And Al, of course, Roman is very good at countering in combination.
Yeah, he's a very good combination puncher. He's told us, I'm going to take a round to figure out Fulton, and then I'm going to get going. So we'll see if that is the case.
Sharp jab by Fulton, flush to the nose of Roman. Under a minute left, and it is Fulton with the jab, the speed, and the reach advantage that is dictating the terms of this opening round.
Yeah, it's that type of speed you want to use if you're Fulton, because it's going to be a lot harder for Roman to counter those punches.
Roman trained by Eddie Gonzalez, Fulton trained by Wahid Rahim, and Rahim telling us that Fulton can you know, throw 400 jabs in a training session in their gym in Philadelphia. I mean, that stick is really everything in the sport. And there's the pressure of Roman on display, but then he gets stopped with a right hand by Fulton. And good defense, good body movement from the unified champion. So a nice start for Stephen Fulton Jr. as Danny Roman tries to corral him.
What do these men have to do to win? Well, for Stephen Fulton, he is a terrific counterpuncher. He's lived off that in the last 2 fights. He sometimes languishes on the ropes. Roman will be harder to counter there than his last 2 opponents were. His left hook is his best power punch. We'll see if he uses that tonight. As for Roman, he can be inside to flurry, but if he stays there, Fulton will counterpunch him well. Now, he is, when he's in close, his uppercut is a great punch. He hasn't been in position to throw it yet. He wants to be more selective this fight and throw what he can land. We expect to see him busier, though, than the 39 punches he threw in round 1.
Showstats crediting Fulton with 10 landed punches in that opening round. 6'4" Danny Roman, and yet, you know, we of course pay attention to the punches, Abner, but footwork is as paramount as they come in boxing, and we saw some of that fluid footwork on display from Fulton in the opening round, but Roman being able now to put the pressure and start landing a little bit more to kick off the second.
Yeah, you're going to see it from both because they're great counter punchers. You know, they use their footwork a lot for that. But again, Roman has to put that pressure. He's got a double, triple jab to work his way inside and let his hands go a little bit more.
Different posture. You see, Roman Roman told us, I'm going to take one round, and now he's being more aggressive. Now the question is, can he be aggressive in a smarter way than Figueroa and Leo were? They're great fighters, but they were countered by Fulton.
And he has to come in angles, because linearly he's going to get picked off, as we were seeing from that jab, that highly educated jab of Stephen Fulton.
Yeah, he's finding really difficult to get in. But
well, he got in with a body shot there, and of course, Danny Roman at times lives and dies by the attack to the body. Always a wise investment, especially early on, and there's some speed on the combination thrown by Fulton.
40% of the punches Roman normally lands are to the body.
And there's another left hook to the body before landing a left upstairs to the champion. There's a lead right hand that catches Danny Roman just past the midpoint of the second round. And again, Roman coming in, a former unified champion. He felt he should have been given the decision against Murodjan Akhmadaliev, who of course holds the other two titles. But Stephen Fulton unbeaten and continues to show different wrinkles, and is using his boxing pedigree early in this fight against Danny Roman.
Great head movement from Roman, walking inside, working his way inside, but Fulton making it really difficult with that jab. That stick, it's so fast. Roman can't time it, but you don't want to time that jab. You just want to work your way inside and let your punches in.
Roman having some success with the jab. Al, you mentioned
your
it.
hands free.
After the first round, Roman much more active and more successful here in the second round.
Roman wants to get himself in position to throw that uppercut, but he has to be on the inside if he's going to do that.
Final 30 seconds. And as expected, nothing but non-stop action. And Roman has Fulton on the ropes momentarily. Fulton leads with a left hook that lands upstairs.
It's been a close round.
Yes. And we expected a close encounter at 122 pounds. Lead left hook lands for Roman. So Roman beginning to close the distance and land a little more to the body in the second. And we are here, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Armory. Mauro Ranallo ringside with Hall of Famer Al Bernstein, former 3-division champion Abner Mares. We're also joined by Brian Campbell, Steve Farhood, and don't forget, debuting July 29th on Showtime, Showtime On Demand, and all Showtime digital platforms is New York City Point Guards. It's produced by NBA superstar Kevin Durant. This feature film shines a light on the enduring impact of New York point guards who honed their legendary showmanship on the city's iconic playgrounds and high school gyms in the 80s and 90s.
Me lo metes a la... Sí, escucha lo que te dijo, cerrando el rango en los últimos 10 segundos, mijo. Si te agarran, trabajas a mano libre. ¿Ok? Sí. Vamos a empezar a clavarlo ahí abajo. ¿Ok, mijo?
This is the third round, scheduled for 12 for Stephen Fulton's two titles at 122 pounds. And immediately Fulton looks to establish the jab. A lot of feinting between the two fighters, and Fulton able to sneak in and out. A quick combination lands.
Yeah, Fulton still has not committed to stay in the center of the ring. He's using the ring, boxing beautifully, counter-punching. And I think he's going to do that for at least 3 more rounds to the half of the fight, and then he might change the game plan.
By the way, Roman normally averages 70 punches around. He's throwing about 45 so far. Also, Fulton's holding on the inside. He wants to stop the action. He doesn't want a repeat of when Figueroa and Leo were on the inside, especially Figueroa throwing all those punches. Now, whether Mark Nelson will at any point intervene on that, we'll see.
The thing is that Roman is not such an aggressive pressure fighter like Figueroa was.
No, Figueroa, he's amazing. I mean, he's astonishing at the number of punches he can throw.
And yet Roman, more technical, picking his spots and having success in closing the distance, putting the pressure on Fulton, and yet that Fulton speed advantage also pivotal already. Nice counter jab by Roman. There's a lead right, chopping right hand that scored for Fulton. So definitely resorting to his boxing pedigree so far in this fight out.
Yeah, and we've seen that part of it. A nice right hand by Roman. And the question is, and there's the uppercut. He wants to be in that posture from time to time. Not always, but from time to time close enough where he can land that kind of punch.
Piston-like jab on display from Fulton. Right hand by Roman as he immediately closes the distance. At this tempo, and the way this fight is unfolding, who does it behoove, Abner?
I think it's favoring Fulton, no doubt. The jab, I mean, he's not having so much trouble as he has in the past with like Figueroa, because that's the type of pressure that Roman has to put.
A series of left uppercuts by Roman.
But you see, Roman took a step back.
Crushing 1-2 by Fulton that negated anything that Roman had just done. Yeah,
Roman took a step back, and you're basically starting all over. You want to stay in there. You want to make it difficult for Fulton.
Yeah, the issue is, can he stay there and not get countered? But he's going to have to try, because that's the way he's going to have to win this fight.
Well, the jab is the bread and butter of Stephen Fulton in this fight thus far, and it's proving to be highly effective along the ropes. 20 seconds left in the third. Danny Roman trying to solve the puzzle, trying to navigate a way to close the distance and try to break down Fulton, and there, pop the jab off his face.
And through the uppercut as well.
Another jab by Roman, but quick overhand right counter, lead left hook land for Stephen Fulton. Good stuff.
Well, Fulton had himself a very good round of boxing. Lands the lead right hand. That was early on in that round. And later on, the right hand would be there again. He's fighting at distance, and here Roman is going to come in without head movement, and the right hand will get in. So Wahid Rahim has to be very happy with what his man is doing. Now, later on, Roman got him in the corner there against the ropes, and he was wailing away, landing some uppercuts and some body shots, especially the uppercut. And if Roman's going to win this fight, he's going to have to land that.
Bell, round number 4. Stephen Fulton is a Muslim, held training camp while he was fasting for Ramadan. He said it sharpened his mental toughness, and he looks on point thus far here in his first title defense as unified champion. And there's a lead left hook. Doesn't follow up with the right, and there's Roman going to the body.
What I like about Fulton, when he throws that jab, or even the lead right hand, he lets it go so fast, and then he gets himself out of danger. He doesn't stay there, and it's working for him.
Al Fulton throws the jab at different speeds, different distances. I mean, when you say highly educated jab, you mean just that.
Yeah, he's thrown 97 of them in this fight. Landed 25, but it's what it's done to disrupt Roman's attack. Roman I thought he had a nice second round in which he was getting his bearings, but he needs to get back to where he was aggressive in that second round.
Again, Fulton lands the jab, but yeah, we have seen where Roman has had an opportunity to get inside, go to the body, but not sustained. And Fulton again utilizing his footwork, chewing up the real estate and showcasing why he is who he is in the sport. He really can fight you in any style imaginable, Abner.
Oh yeah, Fulton could adapt to anything. Now that goes for Roman. Roman should be doing the same thing. You got to learn. You got to do some as far as, all right, you can't counterpunch and counterpunch. It's not working for you right now. So you got to pick up the pace. Pedal to the metal, put that pressure, let go of your punches. Don't hesitate. And I think that's what he's doing.
Well, we're seeing a different foot, and you see that the body shots that were landed, and certainly Fulton with the edge to the head. You know, we're seeing a different Fulton. He's not languishing on the ropes, and even when Roman pushes him there, he's getting off.
And he's probably saying, hey, after what I've given you guys in the last 2 fights to unify the titles, you know, he can again. Against Danny Roman, we talked about it. This was what we discussed. This would probably be wise strategy against a guy like Roman early on.
Be careful.
Yeah, those fights take a lot out of you. And if Fulton is choosing to box,
beautiful. Speaking of boxing, 1-2 combo right through the guard. And again, he's catching Elbowing Roman and jacking his head back with a sharp jab. And that will begin to take its toll. Roman fires back with a combination of his own, and again, he'll be always exhibiting dogged determination. But through 4 rounds, Stephen Fulton Jr. from Philadelphia, utilizing the sweet science to great success against a former champion, Roman.
Fulton has found a home for the right hand. And it's been a lead right a lot, but in this case it came after a jab.
Keep going, keep going. Breathe. You're doing everything great. Calm yourself down, you're doing everything great. Keep using your jab. Listen, stay tight. When you get right there, don't get on the ropes. Listen, when you're on the ropes, the only time you work. You don't work in the middle of the ring. He got to get you in the ring because he got to set his feet to punch. Stay smart, though. Stay smart.
Okay, we need to be a little more intelligent.
Okay.
It's what we did in sparring, okay? That's what we need to do.
Okay.
Cut the distance that he's showing in the ring. We work too much for this.
We worked too hard and too much for this, and Danny Roman, despite his credentials, hey, at 32 coming off a career-long layoff, he knows in many ways this could be his last stand and has to acquit himself against the younger, fresher, faster Stephen Fulton.
See what Roman does? He lets go of his jab, right hand, and then he takes a step back and he sets up all over again. That's the thing that is not working for Roman. You gotta pressure. You gotta take 2-3 steps forward with that jab and stay there. Gotta commit.
There, Roman lands a jab right hand, but again, Fulton able to utilize his fluid footwork, reset in the center of the ring.
Yeah, the difference in this fight compared to the other recent ones, especially the last fight, is here when he's on the ropes, Fulton was immediately wheeling off those ropes. So let's give Brandon Figueroa some credit. He's the kind of fighter that can make you fight that kind of fight, and he's a terrific fighter. So he made Fulton do that too. It wasn't just Fulton deciding it, but tonight he's doing a better job of getting off the ropes.
This is where Roman would like to make Fulton pay. Instead, it's Fulton landing a shot and again exiting stage left.
Yeah, and even when they're in the inside, where Roman wants to be, it's Fulton who's able to counterpunch and move.
And maybe here, there's the right uppercut on cue. I was about to say that distance, you can see the wheels turning for both guys when it comes to the uppercut.
Yeah, they both have good ones, and Roman especially needs that punch. Now there he double jabbed his way in, and that's what Roman can do, and Abner was kind of referring to that, but then he has to stick with it.
Coming up on the final 60 seconds of the fifth. As skillful as they come, as technical, and yet despite their low knockout percentages, as entertaining as they come. And here's a great exchange unfolding in the final 45 seconds of the fifth, as Roman trying to cut off the ring, trying to slow down Stephen Fulton.
You got to give it to Fulton. What he's doing right now is beautiful boxing, and he's doing it against a brilliant technician, which is Roman. And for him to be able to do that, I mean, it's big.
Again, that lead right hand curls around and lands on Roman. Roman trying to take steps forward, but again, Fulton on the move. Final 15 seconds of the fifth round. Scheduled for 12 for the unified 122-pound championship. All right, let's bring in our resident historian, Steve of Farhood. And Steve, we talk about the depth of the 122-pound division. It is as dynamic as they come.
It is a loaded division, Mo, no doubt about it. Only 2 champions. We're watching Fulton, of course, defend his 2 belts tonight against Roman, and Roman just happens to be the fighter that Akhmadaliev edged to win the 2 belts he holds. Akhmadaliev will next face Ronnie Rios. Now we take a look at the notable contenders at 122. I mentioned Rios. There's also former champs, Roman, Figueroa, Leo, and Neri, all former champs. And Rais Alim, the only unbeaten fighter among these contenders, we'll see him on Showtime on June 18th. So this division is very strong and has been very strong for quite a while.
Hey, with all due respect to my first love, the Punch Bowl in Carson, California, I gotta say, first time here at the Armory, Minneapolis, Minnesota. Perfect venue for fighting, convivial atmosphere, crowd showed up early, passionate and educated, and they are being treated to, well, boxing at the highest level here between unified champion Stephen Fulton, former champ Danny Roman, who needs to make adjustments as we begin round 6.
Yeah, and I think he just threw a nice combination. He couldn't push Fulton against the ropes there, but he's going to. The big difference is Danny Roman is a combination puncher. We haven't seen it yet because of the movement of Fulton.
Exactly. The movement of Fulton is not giving him any position, any time to come back with anything.
Oh, solid double left hand that scored upstairs for Fulton.
And we stopped seeing the jab from Roman also. There's the jab, but you want a triple jab.
There's a nice right hand. There's a lead right by Fulton, and Fulton from orthodox. Again, we know that he can fluidly switch stances and be effective, and Roman able to go to the body, but unable to keep Fulton at range where he wants him, right in front of him.
He tried to do it with the left hook to the body to keep him stationary, and Fulton wouldn't allow it to happen. But this is a better round for Roman. He's gotten a little bit more done. Whether it's enough to win him the round is a question, but he's definitely getting a lot more done.
Oh, another chopping lead right hand that scores for Fulton.
What a counter punch by Fulton. Straight right hand made Roman turned all the way. And even when Roman has his moments, it's Fulton. I mean, they're all landing on his gloves, really. He's moving really fast.
Oh, he's got tremendous defense on display tonight. You mentioned it. The reflexes, the timing, and there again, dodges the salvo from Danny Roman. And Roman goes to the body with the right hand, but pays for it with a counter left hook upstairs by Fulton.
I'll tell you what this performance is proving, how fantastic Brandon Figueroa is, because he made Fulton fight a whole different kind of fight and fought him to a standstill. And look at this is Danny Roman, who's fantastic.
Well, what's fantastic tonight is that right hand of Stephen Fulton, who continues to pick off Roman. Just the timing is impeccable.
Yeah, no, but to follow what Al was saying, Figueroa's pace, what he does is not easy to do. No one can do it. That's just Figueroa, no doubt. And Roman is trying.
Different, right?
Yes, no doubt. But I think Roman has to add 1 or 2 more punches to his combinations. He's throwing 1, 2. He's staying short. He's got to add 2, 3 more punches.
He's getting picked off, and Stephen Fulton is getting a nice workout in. Definitely going to get his 10,000 steps, which are your daily recommended steps, but they're educated steps here tonight. We are at the midpoint of this championship fight. Roman trying to put on the pressure. Stephen Fulton putting on a boxing clinic.
Early in the round, Danny Roman got Fulton against the ropes, and he was able to get some work done. Landing, well, just a lot of those blocks, gets to the body with the left hand, but Fulton exiting, and Roman was trying to keep him there with the left hand. And Fulton with that right hand, that clubbing right hand that made him kind of turn around. Good counter right hand, and that's what Fulton has been doing a lot of in this fight. Countering with that right hand very effectively.
Fulton family ringside, that is his mother, who is looking on, of course, with a mother, you know she's always worried, but here to show her love and support. And boy, the family has been through it, coming from a hardscrabble background, but she has to be as proud as anyone about what her son, Stephen Fulton, has been able to accomplish, and what he's able to have accomplished already here tonight as he begins the second half of his first title defense as a unified champion, putting the speed on display right away with that combination.
And we talked about the tough fight after tough fight that Fulton has been having. And this is a tough fight also, that he's making it look like it's an easier fight than the Pat Lasso. It's not his fault. Well, it is, because he's so talented, but he's making this fight so comfortable.
And yet we said Roman is a live dog, and he's showing that dogged determination again. Still in front as we in front of Fulton, but let's find out who's in front on Stephen Farhood's unofficial scorecard.
Well, I think Fulton is dominating with his boxing and his jab and his speed. I have him ahead 4 rounds to 1, 59 to 55. I gave Roman only the second round. And you guys are talking about Fulton's jab being educated. I did a little bit of research, and Fulton's jab actually has a BA
Get your
from the
hands free.
University of
Step back.
Pennsylvania, so he's indeed educated.
All right, break the punch.
Well done, Mr. Farhood, and thank you. And yeah, when you, okay, well, let's, Abner, let's talk about an adjustment that is necessary, because two guys who are known for making adjustments on the fly. Roman, something's got to give. What?
What we talked about since the beginning.
Well, maybe you got to change it up.
Yeah, you got to press in the gas. You got to add more punches, more volume, more pressure from Roman. But fortunately, I don't think we're going to be able to see that, because he's getting too comfortable, just staying on the outside. It's not good.
And Al, hard to pick apart what we've seen from Stephen Fulton. Is it business as usual going forward?
He's done a very good job of boxing in this fight. Something, as I said, he wasn't necessarily allowed to do so much in the last fight, but here he has. And there have been rounds that may have been a little closer than we might think, but nice right hand by Roman. But by and large, it's been Fulton with his movement and his boxing ability.
Well, Roman trying to come back here now, and the crowd enjoying the fighting spirit of the proud Mexican-American. Less than a minute left in the 7th, and again, he has to try to cut off the ring, try to neutralize Stephen Fulton, who, here in round 7, trying to bait Roman, and Roman, well, he eats another stiff jab, splitting the guard.
A nice double left hook by Roman when he got him on the ropes, but he couldn't keep him there.
That was a great glimpse of what we want to see from Roman, but what happened? He took a step back and he reset.
Oh, and he just got countered from the southpaw stance with that sharp left hand, and Roman ate it. Neither fighter known for their knockout percentage, but hey, we've seen Fulton crack. We showed a one-punch power to the body against Avalar that produced a knockout in the 5th round, and Roman going to the body.
Break the punch. Here, obey the bell here. Obey the bell.
We are through 7 rounds at the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota. High-quality championship fight. Danny Roman needs to find a plan B and C.
Daniel, you gotta keep going. Don't give him the space. Listen to me. We're down on the cards, okay? You understand? So you have to keep being more aggressive and more pressure.
Early on in the round, he got hit with that counter punch. Roman put Fulton on the ropes, and he was starting to throw punches in bunches a little bit. And there's trying the uppercut. He knows that punch is important. Fulton just wouldn't let him land it. And then Fulton changing lefty, as Morrow pointed out, for momentarily, which he can do. And what did it produce? A terrific straight left hand.
My grade 1 teacher, Miss Johnson, told me honesty is the best policy. Well, Danny Roman's trainer, Eddie Gonzalez, he was honest in his assessment, saying, hey, we're down on the scorecards.
Yeah, he knows that Danny Roman has to really try at least to change something here and be very aggressive.
And he's trying.
The problem for Danny Roman is he isn't a power puncher. So when you get into a second part of a fight, if in fact he's down like we think, it's hard for him to change the dynamic with power.
Yeah, his usual modus operandi, of course, is to break down his opponent with precision and timing, and especially with the attack to the body. And we saw him go to the body there, but again, he gets picked off upstairs with that lightning quick jab of Stephen Fulton.
And even if he goes for the body, we know that Fulton is known to be a guy that can take body shots like crazy.
That rib cage is made of titanium with all the body shots he's absorbed, and he continues had to come forward, especially in those last two fights.
He says it's, as we see the scorecard of and the last round, Steve Farhood thought Roman did enough to win it. It was a close round. The interesting thing is that Fulton says it's half conditioning and half just doggedness in me that allows me to not be hurt by body shots, and he isn't.
We saw his mom being in attendance. You know, he grew up in a place called The Bottom in West Philly, and until he was 10, his dad was in jail, but by age 15, he had 5 friends who'd been killed, and then when his dad got out of jail, hooked up with a boxing trainer, Hamza Muhammad, at a local mosque, and the rest is history, and now Roman trying to rally back here, going to the body, but Stephen Fulton in control.
Another good round for Roman.
Yeah.
He's adding a lot more to his punches now, and is making it difficult for Fulton.
Yeah, the question for... I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, there's a nice body shot by Roman.
Yeah, the question is, can he win enough rounds if, in fact, he's behind? But I'll tell you, he has picked up the pace.
Sharp jab by Fulton, and that'll stop Roman, but how long is the question? Roman loading up and gets countered again. Left hook sweeping shot that scores for Fulton.
Fulton is such a good counterpuncher.
And there's a nice right hand that lands for Roman. Now they're both fainting. And there's Roman coming forward.
Yeah, how do you stop someone in this tracks just like Fulton did? Double hook.
Ebb and flow. Boxing at the highest level. As the Bad Kiss once says, you wanted the best, you got the best. It's Stephen Fulton Jr. against Danny Roman. Less than 30 seconds left in the 8th. There's a nice left hand by Fulton. Roman just unable to score effectively and keeps getting picked off with the jab, whether it's from the left hand, whether it's from the right hand. We started our telecast tonight with the replay of the grudge match last Saturday in Brooklyn between Gervonta Tank Davis and Rolando Romero, and hey, a lot of people commenting on social media. It lit up social media across all spectrum of sports and entertainment, stick and ball sports. Many big names in the NBA, of course, in boxing, but Kevin Durant saying nobody better. That left is a missile, stay away. Yeah, Tank Davis putting his power on display, and he was, well, as cold as ice. Trae Young, and you all knew what the end result was going to be. Yes, we did. Hey, First Lady of Boxing, Rosie Perez, she's always got the pulse of the game. And of course, Karl Anthony Towns, who plies his craft here in the NBA in Minnesota, summed it up best by saying OMG. And we'll have all access epilogue coming up immediately following this telecast of Showtime Championship Boxing. And we continue with this championship affair for the unified 122-pound title. Fulton has half the belts. Murodjon Akhmadaliev has the other 2. He's the guy that defeated Danny Roman via debatable split decision, and Roman trying to get back to the summit one more time.
And look what Fulton is doing now. He's standing right in the center of the ring, putting a little bit more pop to his punches. And I mean, if you're winning the whole fight and you want to do that, I mean, you got to respect what Fulton is doing.
There's a nice jab by Fulton, and he can beat you with the sweet science. He can beat you toe-to-toe, close trench warfare. And here against the veteran Danny Roman, he's resorting to what first caught the eye of those in the know in Philadelphia. You know, he came up, he's trained with that other Philadelphia sensation, Jaron Boots Ennis. And you know, Stephen Fulton is a special fighter, Al.
Yeah, he really is. You know, both these fighters have gone a long way in fights. You know, Roman's gone 8 rounds or longer in his last 11 fights, and Fulton has had 4 straight fights in 12 rounds. So this is familiar territory for both men. It's been better for Fulton right now.
It's textbook stuff, Abner.
Yeah, you know what? Everyone's going to agree with me. Fulton beats you up in your own game plan. And that's what he's doing against Roman, boxing him. What did he do to Figueroa? Slugged it out. You know, Leo, same thing. I mean, this is the guy that can do it all inside the ring. My respects to Fulton.
And yet, minute and a half left in the 9th. You never want to count out the guts, the warrior spirit of Danny Roman, but he continues to come forward. And yet, Stephen Fulton at times remains a ghost, although If he could keep him on the ropes, that would be one thing. And now it's Fulton trying to impose a little more than his will and skill, a little physicality on Roman. A minute left in the ninth.
And that would tire you out a lot more, too. What Fulton is doing, using his body.
Man, lead left hook curling around, another one by Fulton. Sharp shooting.
Danny Roman has the most power in one punch. It's his uppercut. He's not been in position to throw it enough in this fight.
Hands free, there you go.
And just when Danny Roman, you know, tries to move forward there, three-punch combination just backed him up. But he is immediately hit with the speed and the jab, Abner.
Yeah, Fulton is just choosing his punches. Look at his eyes. He's locked in. 1, 2 punches, all clean punches.
And Danny Roman tries to come forward, gets countered with another right. Unable to use angles.
Look at the speeds that he's using. He's changing the speeds. Fulton.
Stephen Fulton Jr. in control through 9.
Now we're putting your punches together, your combination together. You hear me? You hear me? Walk swing, right? Don't walk swing like this. Walk swing flip. Look, pressing back with your foot. Look, stay like this.
Well, one of the themes throughout this fight has been the use of the right hand by Fulton, and frequently it's following the jab, and that was a perfect example of it. Sometimes Fulton lands it as a lead, and sometimes with the jab. And here again, later in the round, we'll see that right hand get in again against Danny Roman. And from a distance with the 2.5-inch reach advantage that Fulton has, he's utilizing it very well.
Keep doing the same thing. You hear me? Keep doing it. Look at his face. He's busting him up. Keep doing the same thing.
We are set for round number 10. In this scheduled 12-round unified championship fight at 122 pounds. The champion, Stephen Fulton Jr. in his corner, 41-year-old Wahid Rahim, a former pro lightweight. And Danny Roman coming forward, trying to utilize both hands, trying to find a way to slow down Stephen Fulton Jr.
That sequence a moment ago is a perfect example of what Roman wants to make happen. He threw a really nice combination, got one of the punches in, and then Fulton moves away.
But that's, I mean, not to take away from Roman, but Fulton gave him that opportunity. Right. He wanted to stay in there.
And now our unofficial score, Steve Farhood has Fulton well ahead. And Abner, when you look at it, of course, Stephen Fulton Jr. dictating the terms, and the biggest reason why he's having success. But again, Roman coming off a 13-month layoff, the age of 32, longest layoff of his career. Just ate a short left uppercut on the inside and a right hand. Any ring rust on display, or is it all Stephen Fulton?
No, you can't take away from what he's doing right now. Yes, it could be that, but no, it's just the boxing abilities. He's just superior. Look what Fulton is doing to a technician tonight.
He's painting a masterpiece with those strokes of his, with the left and the right to the body and upstairs. And yes, Danny Roman, you know he's going to try to remain on his feet and remain in front of you, Al, but it's becoming an exercise in futility.
Yeah, and he's never figured out how to cut the ring off, and the jab has bedeviled him. 85 jabs landed by Fulton in this match out of the 288 he's thrown, and even the ones that don't land kind of push Roman off.
And Fulton sweeping left hook knocked himself off balance, and Roman tried to capitalize, unable to do so. Minute 11 left in the 10th.
Fulton has told us his time at the 122-pound division may be short. He may be going up to 126. If he goes up in weight, these boxing skills will serve him well because he isn't a major puncher. But when he can box like this, very effective.
He also made it clear, should he win tonight, he wants to be undisputed against Mudajan Akhmadaliev. But you're right, he's already talked about going up in weight and saying, hey, maybe I'll see Brandon Figueroa again at that weight class.
Yeah, that's true. We'd love to see that fight again.
And I think that Fulton, to add to the beautiful, masterpiece that he's doing, if he decides to stand in the pocket with Roman, I think he'll have his way also. This is the 10th round. He looks more solid.
And it's been, you know, it's not maybe blistering action, but it has been solid action, appreciating the skills and the talents of Stephen Fulton while also appreciating the determination of Danny Roman. Styles make fights, and we're seeing how Stephen Fulton is able to negate whatever perceived advantages Roman might have had coming to the fight. And let's not forget, Roman was the underdog as we go to the championship rounds. And speaking of championships, hey, we are going to be bringing you more Bellator MMA action later this month. Friday, June 24th, we will be back at Mohegan Sun in Uncasville, Connecticut. You'll get to see one of the sport's all-time greats, Gegard Mousasi, searching for a career win 50, defending his middleweight title against undefeated #1 contender Johnny Evelyn. Don't miss Bellator 282, Friday, June 24th, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, only on Showtime.
Please, you have to keep fighting. Don't stop. You throw a couple of punches, then you stop. No, just keep going. We need these 2 rounds. Come on, you can take them out. You can take them out. Come on, you can take them out. Let's go. But keep your guards up.
All right, this is it, the championship rounds, and they credit Eddie Gonzalez for keeping it real in the Roman corner. And for Danny Roman, Abner, we've talked about it. You said it. He's a pressure fighter. He wants to break you down, but he seems to lack that extra gear. His corner wants to see that extra gear.
Yeah, we all do. He always starts at a good gear, which is, in the first couple of rounds. But you want to step it up more.
Hard to do against a guy like Fulton.
It is. But Figueroa proved that, it is and it isn't. But again, Roman is no Figueroa. He doesn't have that pressure.
Roman is 5-1 in 12 rounders. The Lostock Medalyev. Fulton is 4-0. Right now, Danny Roman needs something big to change his fight.
And he's doing what he can. He's thrown 25, 26 punches already in the round compared to just 10 for Fulton. And of course, for Fulton, obviously has to know he's ahead on the scorecards, has to know that this is really his fight to lose, and Danny Roman, though, lands a right hand.
Yeah, that was one of the best rights Roman has landed in this fight.
But have you guys noticed that the one coming forward now is Fulton?
Yes. You're right, he's now sitting down. This is showing off different wrinkles, and maybe also a reason why Roman is having a little success, because Fulton now wanting to make it a fight.
This is what he does, and this is what I'm talking about Fulton beating you in your own game plan.
And that is, one thing physically, but the mental beating you can take. And a huge disparity when it comes to headshots landed in favor of the unified champ, who lands 3 more. And now Stephen Fulton beginning to sit down on his punches, and Danny Roman trying to fight valiantly back. But boy, Stephen Fulton showing he has another gear.
Nobody has done this to Danny Roman, really, during the time of him being a great top-level fighter.
Wow, and Danny Roman fires off a right and left. Final minute, and the championship rounds bringing out the championship medal of both Stephen Fulton and Danny Roman.
What a great body shot. And this is not so much the physical, it's the mental.
Wow.
Roman switching to lefty, trying to make something different happen.
The mental beating that Fulton is giving Roman right now.
Final 30 seconds of the penultimate round. Stephen Fulton now sitting down and allowing Danny Roman to come forward. But Stephen Fulton said, hey, I've been teaching you a boxing lesson. You want to get down, you want to get aggressive, you want to go toe-to-toe, well, here you go. Great stuff here in the 11th. Knocks himself off balance, but the crowd says it all.
A big round for Stephen Fulton Jr. as he stood his ground, as Abner pointed out, and landed big power punches. The left hook, which we talked about in the keys, showing up in this round especially. It's been a right hand fest for Fulton, but that round, the left hook.
This fight, Jim, don't be careless in this last round. And then try to get nice and small when he comes in.
Touch gloves, you're good? Yeah. Okay, my man.
Yeah, you can stop him if you want, but stop him safe. Don't stop him right. Yes. Be tight. Keep your hands up. Be tight. Look, don't walk to him like this. Like this. Keep your hands up.
Tight walk
There have been many great champions at 122 pounds, including our broadcast partner, Abner Mares, as we begin the 12th and final round for the Unified Championship belonging to Stephen Fulton. He is proving to be a special fighter.
Yeah, thank you for that mentioning, Mo, but you got to give Fulton. I mean, this guy, it would have been, if I would have fought this guy, it would have been tough, man. This guy's a tough cookie, man.
The honesty's
Really.
the best policy as well,
man.
but man, it continues here in the 12th Allen, the championship rounds. He's flipped the script and said, okay, let's fight.
Well, and Wahid Rahim doing some really good counter work, saying if you're going to come to him, keep your hands up. They're being cognizant that even at this juncture, Roman not a big puncher, but they have to be careful. But Fulton is just taking control.
The conditioning, the IQ, the punch placement, the defense. I mean, you want to build a fighter in the laboratory, and again, I know the proof is, it speaks for itself, guys.
I mean,
Stephen Fulton is a guy who deserves his props.
Yeah, you can't have it all, right? God did not give him maybe the power.
That's right.
But Fulton really has everything.
But that's it. That's what makes him even more special, I think, is the fact he's not known for his knockout power, and yet both of these guys and a lot of fighters in the division now, as entertaining as it gets, and Roman still.
Yeah, it's always fun. He landed a nice uppercut, Roman. It's obviously late for that, but nonetheless, he was able to get it in. And yeah, this is part of the reason why the division is so much fun, because we have all action fights.
Imagine Fulton would knock out power.
Wow.
Well, we always said that about Roman too. Some of these fighters, but Fulton for sure. He's a fighter that if he did have that extra power, would be very tough to beat. Tough to beat right now.
Going to the body of Danny Roman, saying, "Hey, you wanted to do this to me, I'm going to do it to you." Double right hand. Roman eats the left, trying to just find that one punch in the final minute. Danny Roman. It is looking less and less likely that the Roman Emperor will rise again here in Minnesota, the Empire, but Stephen Fulton wanting to close the show.
And he's doing that. He's making this a really exciting fight, interesting fight, because he wants it that way. He's staying in the center of the ring. He's counter-punching Roman at will.
You can't emphasize enough that Stephen Fulton's doing something tonight that others have not been able to do against Roman.
And maybe he is finally going to get some respect put on his name, because you talk about pound-for-pound lists, as mythical as they are. Stephen Fulton Jr. proving that he is pound-for-pound one of the best after this performance tonight. And Danny Roman getting his props from Fulton for a gutsy effort, and there are many reasons why what transpired tonight did. Stephen Fulton feels he did way more than enough to remain unbeaten and a unified champion, but Al, he continued to show us more.
Yeah, most people coming into this fight would not have expected, we were anticipating, obviously we don't know, but we're anticipating that the scorecards would be pretty lopsided for Fulton. Most people coming in wouldn't have expected that. The show stats will show us why that is the case. Clearly Fulton landing a lot more, landing 46% of his power punches, everything other than the jab. That's important because it shows how accurate he is with his power punching. And Danny Roman, so low those percentages of what he landed, he just couldn't keep Fulton in front of him.
And that's because of Stephen Fulton, Abner.
Yeah, Stephen Fulton. Did we mention this kid does it all? I mean, Fulton really put on a showcase tonight. He put on a great performance. He did it all. He boxed, he brawled, he showed us great jab, and I mean, I'm just amazed about his performance.
And yet, Danny Roman hung on until the end, like you said, Al, maybe taken to school as we go now. Inside the ropes, Mr. Bernstein.
Yeah, we'll take a look at this fight in microcosm. And there were two major power weapons that Fulton used. Early in the fight, for a good portion of it, it was the right hand that was the dominant weapon. Then he switched to lefty and started to use the left hand. But the 1-2 combination was excellent for him. And mixed in with that were also some nice left hooks. There's the left hook that landed for Fulton. Toward the last 3 or 4 rounds, he started to crank that hook up more, which is normally what he uses as a great counterpunch. But because he was pushing Roman back, the right hand was working more.
All right, let's find out the official decision for this unified 122-pound championship fight. Jimmy Lennon Jr. has the name of the winner on his lips.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside Nathan Palmer scores the bout 119 to 109. Judges Patrick Morley and Mike Fitzgerald both score the bout 120 to 108. All three in favor of the winner. And still the undefeated unified WBC and WBO 122-pound champion of the world, Cool Boy Steph Stephen Fulton Jr.
Well, a great performance by this young man. A dominant win. And now Brian Campbell is in the ring with him.
Thank you, guys. Here with the victorious Stephen Fulton Jr. Stephen, there was some thought this could be a potential fight of the year contender, like your victory over Brandon Figueroa. But there were long stretches you made this look easy. What type of statement did you make?
Alhamdulillah, first and foremost, all praise be to Allah. I made a hell of a statement tonight, you know. I prepared for this. I told you I was going to make it easy and fight depending on how I wake up. And I woke up feeling good.
When you fought Brandon Figueroa, he did have success to the body. You seemed to take that away from Danny Roman by controlling distance. How important was that to your victory?
It was very important. And like I said before, in the last outing with Brandon Figueroa, I didn't have the energy. I didn't make the weight the right way. So shout out to Josh Sasson, my dietitian.
You controlled this bout, but Roman did have some moments in round 7 particularly, yet you closed the round by turning southpaw, stunning him with a big left hand. Could you feel the momentum potentially shifting?
For sure, and any moment he had, I took it right away from him. I neutralized the threat.
In round 11, you stood in the middle of that ring and started to walk him down. What did you see to make that decision?
I seen him start, he been slowing down, but I feel like the more I kept boxing, the more I just got a little tired of boxing. That me trying to walk forward to him wasn't going to happen all the time. But I definitely seen him slowing down. I wanted to stop me, but I didn't get that.
Your 2021 puts you in the Fighter of the Year conversation. Do you believe this is the victory that puts you in the top 10 pound for pound conversation?
I've been in the top 10. I don't care what their list is. I've been top 10. I'm the only fighter that became world champion in 2021 and then unified at the end of the year. Four undefeated fighters back to back to back. 2 of them was world champion. Nobody did that. Nobody. And I was in Fight of the Year contests with Canelo, and I'm at the smaller weight class.
You're on a run of huge success. Undisputed season has become a thing in this sport. What is next for Cool Boy Steph?
Y'all already know what that is. Y'all already know I want MJ next. I got to. We got to finish this out. But much respect to Daniel Roman. Much respect. And I just want to thank my team. Thank Coach Rel. My big guy right here from out LA. He helped me much. Mr. Chua himself. My father is in my corner. My big brother Wahid. Sam Watson. I got a hell of a team.
Congratulations on a thorough and convincing victory.
Appreciate that. Thanks a lot.
Let's bring in Danny Roman. Danny, it didn't go your way tonight. How much do you believe the career-long layoff coming in affected it?
There's no excuse, you know. I think this fight proved who's the best 122 super bantamweight fighter of the division. And Fulton did it tonight. You know, he proved it. I wish him the best. Go achieve what I couldn't achieve. Be undisputed. Wish you the best. Like I said, you know, this fight showed who's the best in the division, and that's Fulton. Fulton was a better man tonight.
How was he the better man tonight? What did he do specifically that gave you so much trouble?
He knew how to use his distance. It was hard for me to adjust to his distance because he was boxing, and he came in, came out. So he changed the boxing style. So it was a little bit hard for me to adjust.
You've now put on entertaining fights with both unified champions in this division. What do you think Fulton's performance tonight says about his chances to hold all 4 world titles?
Oh, like I said, you know, this fight against me, he was going to show who's the best in the division, you know, and I wish him the best. So, achieve what I couldn't achieve.
Thank you so much, Danny.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's send
and
it back
MJ
to ringside.
Akhmadaliev is the fighter they're talking about, who this man, Fulton, wants to unify all the titles, be the undisputed champion of this weight class.